Hey, Baragon, it started me early today. I don't know why it does that. Hi, Ross Lynch. Give me a second or two. Nice. I was talking with a friend about Transformers. Okay, I got that. I got that. I didn't mind Andor. It wasn't too bad. No, but it's not a bad story. So, what all is in Prehistoric Planet? And is that trailer? Is the trailer on YouTube? Do you know? John Carlo. Gee, thank you. Hello, Joshua Jackson. Ooh. Now I have to say, that has me excited. I really, really, really need like a job. I really, really need a job. Um, because let me tell you something. This doesn't cut it. Although, if I'm being honest, I am making money on TikTok, which is kind of funny. No, you couldn't pay me enough to become a teacher. I would not touch education in the United States with a 10-foot pole. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. $30 years ago? 40 years ago? Maybe, but not now. There's just too much. Too much expectations that we're asked to do. But we can talk about that later. It's not. Oh, it is time. Okay. We are going to be doing two more tarantulas tonight. If you missed the earlier lives, they should be up tomorrow. And they're pretty good if you've... Hi, Carmen. We're going to be talking about 2 African tarantulas tonight. And they're very different animals compared with... Hello, Carmen. I'm assuming you're saying hello. We don't speak no habla español. But I get it. Hi, Robert Torres, T4T. So we're going to do the starburst baboon spider, and then later, once we have that discussed, we're going to jump into a second spider, which is the orange... the orange baboon spider. All of a sudden, my mouth is dry. So, the starburst baboon spider, its full name is the Togo Veteran. Hello. This spider's full name is the Togo starburst baboon. And within the tarantula keeping community, we call them HMACs, which is short for heteroscrota macellata, which I will put that into the live, because time and time again my pronunciation is really messed up. Hi, Dario Coleman. I'm sorry. Other names for this spider include the ornamental baboon tarantula or the feather leg baboon. Baboon is often in relation to the African tarantulas, is what we call the tarantulas in Africa. You'll oftentimes see king baboon or blue-legged baboon. And so it'll be blue-legged baboon spider versus tarantula. This species was first described by science in 1899, and they can be found in the countries of Togo, Cameroon, and Ghana. No, they don't eat baboons. They are an arboreal species, but will come down to the ground. They grow pretty quickly compared with the 2 tarantulas that we discussed earlier. They are going to be between 5 inches to 6 inches in size. Remember, that is from this leg to this leg. And yes, this species, again, is in the pet trade. But there's going to be lots of warnings in this video that you need to listen to. Especially if there's any part of you that might decide you might want to get one of these guys, a lot of warnings. So listen. Old world tarantulas. Again, all spiders are poisonous. Did I say poisonous? That's not what I meant to say if I did. Old world tarantulas are known to be hotter than new world tarantulas. And what I mean is all spiders, from the littlest tiny spiders to the great big papas of the world, are all venomous. All spiders are venomous. To what degree they're venomous, that is a different story. But old world tarantulas are more venomous than the tarantulas from the Americas. So, yeah. Again, this is a spider you want to be extremely careful with because they can and will jump. They are actually known to jump out at people. I've never had that happen. But I only had one of those guys. They will definitely bite without being provoked. Or wait, I'm sorry. Sorry, that is a lie. They definitely will bite if provoked. So if the animal is in its cage, not doing anything, and you go in there and you're poking and prodding, trying to get it out to hold it, you're probably going to get bit. So don't do that. This is not a beginner spider. Not a beginner spider. Females, like I mentioned earlier, live longer than the males. Females can live 12 to 15 years. Males may make it 3 or 4 years. Again, it depends on the female. Babies should be fed at least twice a week. And I didn't talk about this in the last video. Oops. I didn't talk about this in the last video, so I'm going to talk about it now. Once I fix up the mistake. That's important. When a spider molts, they will lay down a ton of silk, usually in the bottom of the cage, and they will flip themselves over. Okay, spiders don't flip themselves over when they die. If you see a spider upside down, it means they're molting. And if you mess with them at that stage, you can kill them. Leave them be. They may be upside down for 12 hours. Let them be. Raise the humidity inside the cage, but do not mess with them. Once they molt, depending upon the size of the spider, you may wait 24 to 48 hours. I recommend 48 hours. Yes, they do. You would be correct, Ross Lynch. It is super important that once the spider molts, that you wait at least 24 hours. I'm going to say 48 hours. Okay? That you do it by spraying the substrate. Don't spray the spider. spray the substrate and make sure that the water is full. And that's how you do it. Now, equally important, and again, the bigger the spider, the longer you're going to wait to feed them. An adult, you might have to give them 5 days. Not the spider. Don't spray the spider, spray the cage. Because you don't want to stress your spider out. You can tell if a spider is getting too big by looking at the cephalothorax. That is this. That is the head area. If the abdomen, which is this chunky thing right here that I'm holding, is thinner than the cephalothorax, you need to increase what you're feeding. So if you give 3 or 4 crickets at each feeding, the next feeding you want to feed them more than twice a week. Luna Kate P9B, if it were alive, I wouldn't be holding it here. Because I would either get hurt or it would get hurt. No, it is not alive. If the abdomen is wider than the cephalothorax, you are feeding it too much. And you need to reduce the amount that you're feeding it. So instead of feeding it 4 crickets, you may only give it 2, or space out the feeding. Maybe feed them every 2 weeks instead of every other week. Now, if you're curious, we talked a little bit about this earlier when we were talking about what you can feed them. 4 crickets equals 2 dubias. Not necessarily, but if you're feeding them every week and you're giving them 8, they may catch them or they may not. And if you're overfeeding, it's an issue. Because what can happen is overfeeding leads to issues, including problems when they molt, which if a tarantula gets stuck in a molt, it's a death sentence. A fall becomes even more dangerous because you could rupture the abdomen if it falls, and that is bad. Consider that a hemorrhage. They would bleed out. With adults, when it comes to feeding, or when it comes to after a molt, it might take 5 to 10 days for them to harden up. So keep that in mind. Also, if you normally feed 4 crickets to a spider with a feeding, if you decide that you want to feed them something else that's available, like dubia roaches. You only need 1 dubia roach for every 4 crickets. Again, 1 dubia roach for every 4 crickets. Let's see, where am I? Okay, so if you do take a bite from the feather-legged baboon that we've been talking about, the starburst baboon, this is what you can expect to happen, and it is not fun. Intense localized pain, muscle cramps, fever-like symptoms, dizziness, and nausea. And I'm not playing around. I've heard stories of people's fists closing up and people having to pry their fingers to get them open. And that's not a joke. That is me being dead serious. Do not, and I cannot stress this enough, do not hold this tarantula, because you probably are going to get bit. These guys are quick. I mean, lightning fast. And they're quick to exhibit defensive postures. And because they do have that higher humidity need, you really need to watch for mold in their tanks. Now, these guys are also webbers. And by that, I mean that if I had one inside this tank, it would be filled with web. Like, it would be really difficult to get in there. But it's true. It would be. Now, the next animal that we're going to talk about is the OBT. This is my personal favorite old world spider. If you saw the thumbnail, this is the spider that introduced me to old world spiders. And it was not my beginning spider. I had been doing tarantulas for probably 15 years before I got my first OBT. Now, we're going to go through what that means and some of the other names as we discuss them. So again, this is the orange baboon spider. Before we move on, any questions, comments, or concerns? I'm a planner myself. Okay, I'm assuming the silence means there's no questions. Another name for this animal is OBT, or orange bitey thing. That is a pretty good, it's very telling of what the spider is like. Another name for it is the golden starburst baboon. The Usambara, I will put it into the live. Because I very often forget things. Or not forget them, but Cannot pronounce them. Okay, so they are native to Central and Southern Africa. Countries include Angola, Burundi, the Congo, Kenya, Malawi, Malawi, Tanzania, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. I don't know if they're in South Africa. Now, this guy is a semi-arboreal species, meaning you're going to find these guys up in the trees or down low. And in tanks, if they can get the high ground, they're going to do it. Again, this is not a beginner spider for pets. Nope, it is in the pet trade. They are quick, they are defensive, and their venom is medically significant. Probably pretty similar to what you saw with the starburst baboon. They are 6 inches in length. I think they get bigger than that. I think they could maybe go up to 6.5. Females can live for 14 years, while males can live for 4 years. Both of these tarantulas are escape artists. You give them an inch to a half inch of space, they will be out faster than you can say Timbuktu. Again, guys, I cannot say this enough. Do not handle either one of these spiders. Its cage should allow for arboreal and space for it to burrow if it decides to. And feeding for this guy is like any other tarantula out there. Again, these spiders don't have hairs like that of the North and South American tarantulas. They do have very quick reflexes. They're agile, and they can and will jump. You need to be prepared anytime that you open up one of these tanks. And I can also tell you that with this spider and the one before it, threat postures are the rule, not the exception. They will give you threats when you spray down tanks, when you put food in, when you just open up the tank for any reason. They're going to threat you. If you touch the tank, you may end up getting a threat. That's how defensive these spiders are. That is their official way to greet you. Now, these guys, a female, if it gets gravid, that means pregnant, under your care, they can have anywhere from 10, or I'm sorry, that's a lie. They can have anywhere from 100 to 200 eggs in an egg sac. It's a lot. It is a lot, that's for sure. I can show you, maybe I can show you. Let's see. We're going to look at some tarantulas within this group. All of these are from None of these pictures are mine. By the way, just saying. So that is an OBT. That's an orange bitey thing. That appears to be a female. You can see she's pretty much orange all over. There's not a lot of pattern on them. Actually, that's the only one they have. Oh, wait. No, it's not. Maybe. No, that's the only one they have. That's crazy. I will show you pictures if they have them. Okay? Because not all of them do. And I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not showing pictures that are copyrighted. That one you can't see. That one there's no picture. No picture. No picture. And because I'm on my Chromebook, well, actually, let's do Facebook. Hi, Only Dummy 06. See if I can show you. We'll see how good my memory is. I don't have pictures of everybody. What I'm mainly interested in are pictures of my South American buddies, or my tarantulas from what I want are pictures that show the old world spiders, which I don't have a lot of experience with old world spiders, unfortunately. Most of mine have been the American kind. Thank you for the hearts. Well, I shouldn't say the American kind, but the ones that are based in the United States or within North and South America. And most of mine are from the Americas. Again, this is the orange baboon spider. That's it being a boreal, sort of. That's an adult female. That is 5 to 6 inches of spider. Not the most prolific webber, but still pretty decent. See you, bud. Okay, this I mentioned the HMAC earlier. So this is the starburst baboon. And you can see I'm having a hard time seeing them. Can you guys see them? If not, let's see if I can do this. This is the head. That's the abdomen. There's feet, feet, and everything else is web or substrate. These guys, this is not an animal that you want to play with. The spider is right here. I don't know if I made it bigger. I think that's as big as I can make it. That's the spider. That's the head. That's the 2 pedipalps. Yeah, this is a little one. You can see the color of the substrate. If this were on a tree, you may not be able to see it. That is a spider you don't want to mess with. They look, I don't want to call them animal evil, but they look evil. Now, this is a different one. I think. I do like spiders. Now, this is a Kilimanjaro mustard baboon. You can see the web. It's another very heavy webber. And I don't even know, because to me, he looks a lot like an HMAC. I'm curious how they fit in. Okay, I guess it really is its own species. Yeah, okay. I didn't realize that. So those are the 3 that I have had. They come in all different sizes and colors. I don't know. That's what I have. I would rather have the rain than what's coming. We are due to have our first snow of the season over the next couple days. The next 3 days, actually. You know what? I told you that I've had just a couple. This is one that I bought from the swap. This is not a baboon spider. This is a tiger tarantula. I believe they're called earth tigers. And they get that name because the abdomen is striped. These guys are from Asia. They're another strictly no hold. And ladies and gentlemen, when I said that I've had a whole mix of stuff, this is let's see if I can move it so you can see it better. This little monster, which I use the term, it's not a monster. I actually really enjoyed it. This is an olive centipede from Africa. Very cool little guy. So when I say that I've had like a mess of stuff, I really, really have had. They remind me of the movie, what is that movie? Where the worms live under the ground and they come up and grab people. Yeah, that's what they remind me of. And if you want to see Tremors, that's it. Who is that? Who is that guy? I really don't know. Anybody know that guy? Anybody? Anybody know him? Man, I look like my dad. A little bit. I was in my 20s and when that picture was taken. I would have been 20, no, late 20s. Late 20s. That was school. And then there's this one. A big old forehead. Look at that big old forehead. Maybe it's the angle. I don't know. I was not having it. That is the look of do not bother me. And you can see no grays. Maybe one. I was sick. Actually, I wasn't sick. Funny story from that trip to Utah, but I'm not going to tell you it because it's creepy. And not creepy like in a spooky way, but creepy in a human sort of way. Yeah. Guys, we're only going to do an hour today. And who's all here? Because I only have 2 people in live. Okay. I've got to try and get a video out. Yeah, well, I knew D-Man wasn't going to be here. So that doesn't surprise me. I'm not tired, but I really need to know what the house has planned for dinner. How much phone memory do I have? 67%. On what? What type? What type of trivia? I don't have a lot of... I think these are going to be true and falses. True or false? Spider blood is blue in color. It is... Well, I don't know if Carrie is doing this or not. It is false. If Yeah, it's false. Spiders don't stick Spiders don't stick to their own webs because they have special oils in their feet. True or false? False. Spiders spin a variety of different webs, and not all of them are sticky. So when a spider walks across its web, it knows where to step and where not to step. Spider silk is stronger than Kevlar, which is used in bulletproof vests. True or false? That one is actually true. Spider silk is stronger than Kevlar, which is used in making bulletproof vests. All spiders make geometric or circular webs. True or false? That one is false. All spider webs are designed to catch prey. Yeah, I'm fine. That's right. It is false. Not all spider webs catch prey. Female black widows always kill the males before mating. Female black widows always kill the males after mating. That is false. Males sometimes do get away. Arachnid is just a fancy way of saying spider. True or false? That would be arachnids. That one would be false. Spiders are a type of arachnid, but so are mites, ticks, and scorpions. So that one is false. The only spiders that are venomous are the ones that are brightly colored. True or false? It is false. All spiders are venomous. All spiders are venomous. I did, and I was correct. All spiders produce venom, which they use to catch prey and defend themselves. Not all venom in spiders is strong enough to hurt or kill a human. They can't all do it. But all spiders are venomous one way or another. All spiders have 2 eyes, just like humans. Even house spiders, all spiders. Now, harvestmen or... Oh, I gotta be really careful how I say this. Oh, man. So, most spiders have 8 eyes. Some have 12, some have none. Spiders that don't have eyes live in caves where there's no light. And so the need for having eyes just is a waste of time. There is only one kind of spider silk. True or false? That is false. They are capable of making 9 different kinds of silk. All spiders can make silk. Sorry, I have an eyebrow. I don't know why it does it. But it grows differently than all the others. And it really annoys me. So, it is true. All spiders can make silk. The big difference really is in how they use it. Guys, we have 2 more minutes. Do we want to keep going or do we want to stop? Okay, guys, I'm going to stop. Have a good time this evening. Sleep, whatever you're doing. I will talk to you later. Goodbye.